All right, so welcome to BackstageOS. I'm going to walk you through some of the schedule features that I built for this. And let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have any questions or have any ideas, totally open to those. So first thing I want to do is start with just kind of walking you through what the schedule page is and kind of what the capabilities are. And then I can walk you through some ways to make your workflow a little bit faster. So when you first open the schedule, it's going to actually open in the weekly view. This is sort of like the default schedule view, just because I feel like SMs are typically kind of working on a weekly basis. I mean, daily as well, but weekly seemed like the most natural place to land every time. Anyway, so the monthly view it's obviously just an extension of all the events. I only have performances on here for the most part, but as you can see, all of the performances are automatically numbered. So you don't have to worry about numbering your performances anymore, and it tracks automatically. And that tracks through the entire system so that everything is automatically tracked. And in the settings, you actually have a performance numbering thing here, and you can actually start from whatever number you're at whenever you get into the app. And when you get your performance, your first performance, you can actually set whatever that first performance is, and you select it, and then everything numbers from that point. And then in the event types, there is a performance event type, and the labeling that you set here is what will show next to the number. So I have performance, but if you wanted to, you can edit this and you can say, I want it to be show, and that would change your label to say show number, whatever. It could be whatever your nomenclature is, pick your poison. So let's go back to the schedule. So that's really cool. You could click on an event and then you can go into the details, and then you can see who's been assigned. And all of these are being pulled from your contacts page, and it's by default grouped by the contact group. So whatever your contact groups are is what order they're going to be in, and all of that sort of stuff. You can go in and you can edit. You can, like I said, do all this stuff. Whenever you select that performance type, since it is the label is set, it's going to auto title it for you. You're not going to be able to edit that unless you go into the settings, and then everything else is customizable. But this is something that is a little bit more streamlined. You can change the time and date. You can make all day events. You can select a full group of people. You can select full cast, full company. Private notes are just for you, anything you need to know. Notes will show up in the daily schedule. I can show you what that looks like. And this is the daily view, which is essentially just the weekly view or monthly view just on a day. And just so you know, you can click on any of these days and it takes you directly to that day. Same thing here. If you click on this, it takes you directly to that day. You can also set your increment time. You can probably barely see it, but there's lines that make a grid. Right now it's set to 30 minutes. If you change it to 15, it goes to like a tighter grid for 15-minute increments, and that allows you to move in 15-minute increments. And then there's also 60 minutes that takes you to 60-minute increments. 30 is the default. You can either view or not view the all day. I don't have any all day events right now, so that's why you don't see anything, but they would show up here. I got a filter here, which filters the schedule view is really cool. It allows you to select event types and locations and save that as a view. So if you wanted to have a very specific view of event types and or locations, a combination one or the other, you can save that as a schedule view. I have one called show schedule. I have one called performance schedule. And there's also one called conflicts, which is a system default based on the availability. so that you can click on this, and then you can go in and you can see the conflicts. I don't have any conflicts in here, that's why you don't see them. And then, so if I went to the performance schedule, it would only show me the performances. And then whenever I select show schedule, then it turns on everything else that I have based on my selection. And in the settings, you've got schedule views, and this is what it looks like. You can set a default schedule view, and then in here you can select what event types, what locations that you want, and it'll make that. And then I set this one as my default. So that's a schedule view. Then you can also filter by just event types. You can filter by just locations. You can filter just by people if you want. If you want to see everyone, all the events that a particular person is called to, you can just select their name, and it will just filter them. You can also you can select a whole group of people as well, and you can just filter by a group of people as well. So that's the week. The daily calls are generated automatically for you. And so you don't have to make a daily call anymore, which is fucking awesome, right? I know there's some people that love making daily calls, so don't get me wrong. So yeah, this is what the daily call looks like. It automatically pulls everything in there. If it is everybody in the cast, it'll say all cast. If it's everyone, actually this is based on your group type. So if you use whatever group names you use for your contacts, this is how it will happen. So if all of your cast or artists or performers or whatever term you use, it'll say all that term for each group. And then if there's additional people that are not assigned to a group that are called, then it'll add these additional people here. If you have everybody in your whole contacts, it'll say full company. And then you can also so you can edit this, and you can add a secondary location, which will add this little column over here, and it's sort of like a chronological type thing. And I'm actually going to go back into there, and then you can add different event types. Like if you had something, is sort of like a hybrid between a manual call and an automated call. So I tried to make it a little bit flexible to where you could do some really cool things with this based on your workflow. You can also, this is really cool, you can import notes from your previous daily call. So if you have notes that are sort of like stringing along throughout the week or whatever, and instead of having to type those every time, you can just import your previous notes from your previous day. And you don't have to have just announcements. You can have multiple, they're called custom sections is what I call them. And if you go into your schedule settings, you can create multiple custom sections. I have it set to 5. I don't know if anyone would need more than 5, but you just, you add the section here, you name it, and then that's that. You can have different bullet versions, I guess. You can have numbers, you can have bullets, you can have dashes. You can put it above the call or below the call. So if you wanted to move this above the call and we went back into daily calls, then you would see this at the top of the call versus at the bottom of the call. So I will move that back, and then you can change this name to, let's call it notes. And then if we go back into daily calls, then now it says notes. Another really cool thing, so we have this, so you can share and export, you can email it, you can PDF it. When you email, it will attach a PDF to the email, and if you download it, it just downloads it, and then it gets added into your documents automatically. This import from schedule might be kind of moot now because the events are automatically imported. So this, before it was sort of like a little bit more manual, and I decided to just go ahead and just connect it so it would just automatically populate. So that's daily call. Availability is really cool. This allows you to track the availability of everybody in the show, and if they have a conflict, you can add a conflict for somebody. Let's say this person has a doctor's appointment, and just say they're unavailable, and no rehearsal this day. So now there is, oh, that's one of my accounts. That's funny. So this will add a conflict now. So if I go into the schedule, and this time is at 11:30 on the 10th. So 11:30, let's try to put rehearsal, location, rehearsal hall, and let's assign. You can also search for people while you're doing this. That's on my test account. So if I do this, it'll come up and it'll say, hey, Bryan has a conflict, and this is the time that he has a conflict. Do you want to override it, or do you want to review? So if you review it, then you can, oh, okay, maybe I won't be able to call it. For that, if you override it, obviously it'll just add the conflict, the event that's a conflict to that. So then we have all day events. If let's say that you want to add a conflict here, and you say, oh, this person has an event, right? This happens to be a performance. And you do this, again, it's going to say, hey, this person has events during this time. Are you sure? And if you do, we're going to remove this person from every event during that time. So if they have multiple things that they might be assigned to, it's going to remove them from all of that. So you can either keep the assignments, you can remove, or you can remove and create it. So you can also have conflict types. These are two default. Unavailable is obviously like just they're unavailable, and that's where you can add like a particular note. Preferred, I've had that so that if you wanted to track people's preferred times versus like when they can or can't do stuff, then this just kind of lets you know that they're available, but this is kind of like the preference. And then you can add like custom types. I added LOA. You could add sick. You could add whatever the terms are that you use at your show. And then there's also location availability. So all the locations you can also, if you have different like meetings that you're trying to schedule, or just different things that might be coming through the space and you're sharing the space, you can look at the availability of the space and you say, when is this space available, like to have a meeting. Also in this is you can filter stuff too. So if you just want to see like specific people, like let's say we want to see these two people, and you want to say, when are they available? I can't tell you how many times I've had to like try to track down and figure out when people are available to be able to schedule them. That's the biggest reason why I built this, is because I understand the pain of having to get availability for people. And this makes it so much easier because you can visually see when people are available, what they're doing in the show, and if they have any conflicts that are personal, that aren't necessarily show related on the schedule, but it's a conflict. So that's why I built this, was so that you could see all of that, because man, it makes it so much easier. Okay, you can also filter everything by you, or see everything. Let me see, I think I'm called to everything, which is why, oh no, I'm not. So these are all the events that I'm called to, and then this one I am not called to, which is why it popped up when I clicked all. So this gives you the availability, or the ability to see only the events. For stage managers, you're called to everything pretty much, but for artists or for technicians or other people that might be in the app, it gives them the ability to kind of have a view that is only pertinent to them and that maybe only they care about. Okay, so then the next up is, I'm not necessarily going to go through all of this, but scheduling. A lot of times on shows, you are doing the schedule and then you have to, talk to other people and get feedback and whatever else. So I created this draft where you can publish a draft. It doesn't publish the version. It just publishes a new draft. So that drafts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, it says I'm on draft 5. And you publish a draft, and it will allow you to send it with one of your distros. And when you do the distro, it will tell you who's in the distro and what the email is going to say, and you can publish it, and it sends an email to everybody, and it says, hey, this new draft has been published. Here's a link. You can click on it, and you can go review that link and see the schedule. And I will show you that draft link here. I will open this tab. I want to make it to where it'll just open the tab for you, but currently it's not like that. Let's see if it will load. No, of course it's not loading right now. That's something I'll have to look at. But the thing I wanted to show you was distro. So you can create distros here, and you can name them. You can add whoever. You can type a contact's name here. You can do full groups. You can type an email that's not even in your contacts. You can decide if they want to go to, or if you want to copy them, or if you want to blind copy them. And then you can save that to a distro. And then whenever you send certain things, like the schedule, the publishing a draft, publishing a new schedule, which here's the publishing version, it sends all that with your distro. So you can decide who's getting what. And you can resend schedules, you can download schedules, you can have personal schedule links. So let me go to, let me just try this person. So there's nothing published for this week, which is why it says no published. But if you go to past, it pulls up the previous schedule, and you can pull that up, and it will show what this person's schedule was for the week. And when a schedule gets published, everyone gets their personal schedule link, so they can check what that schedule is and know exactly what they're called to. And it sort of gives them like just a personalized type of schedule, which I think was like a really cool thing. Also, something I did want to point out too is we have schedule sharing, where you can push schedules to Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, Outlook Calendar. You can create a new share link. You can click the location. You can create, you should be able to share it by schedule view or, oh, here it is, yeah. Type or by location. And I'm also going to make something that's not currently made, but the schedule view, to where you can actually share a schedule view. That's something I'm going to add that I haven't had a chance to get to yet. But you can also share someone's personal schedule to where it'll give you a link, or you can download it to where you can just send them their personal schedule link to where they can get it in their Google Calendar or Apple Calendar. And the only events that get pushed are published events. So anything that's like in a draft mode is not pushed until it gets published as either a major or a minor version. Yeah, this is a little bit about schedules. Hope that wasn't too long. If you have any questions, please ask me. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'm doing a full demo May 27th. Please come check it out. And thank you so much for watching.